Hey y'all, how y'all doing today?
Hey, we're all doing our hair in Zoom.
I know, like, make sure we're good. Yeah.
Yep.
So it's so funny. When I hit record, everybody turns into somebody different.
The
It
internet
pisses me
forever.
off so much because we all signed it. I'm going to reenact what happened because I got on first and then Maria and then Sarah. This is what happens. Scene. This is Michanda. I was making random noises. Maria comes on. Hi. I'm like, hello, how are you, Maria? And she's like, oh, we're doing that. She's like, we used to do that when we were kids. We were like, I am
I
your
I would like to talk to you.
you know, I would like to say hello. And then she had her hair up.
Oh,
And then she
my
takes
hair was
her,
like
yeah, it was
right
like
there.
that. And then she was like, oh shit, I gotta do my hair. So she's like, and I was like, yeah, I'm having a bad hair day too. Like, but I looked at myself and was like, you can't go on like this. And I was just like, okay. So Maria and I are talking about hair, and then oh, fabulous one, Sarah pops in with her new hairdo and bob. Yeah, new color hairdo. And she's like, yeah, and I can't believe it took 4 hours. And I'm like, what? And you're
White
mad?
people problems.
Yes, that is white people problems. Because listen, black girls, we be in the salon. You hear me? Salon. And then Maria was like, oh, yeah, I remember when you was getting those braids and it looked painful because it was
It looked
painful.
terrible.
It's
Are you
painful.
tender-headed?
Am I? Oh my God. So I recently just took out a set of braids and went to a new stylist, and she was doing my hair and detangling it because, why would I detangle my own hair? Because that's too painful. And this is what I was like. I actually took pictures. Oh yeah. Uh-huh. I'm going to show the pictures. I just got to find them so I can pick them up. This was me the whole time. The whole time.
Bad as hell.
I'm going to try to find the pictures because I've learned how to do this whole little share screen thing. So yeah. So how's everybody doing? It's our normal meeting day. It's Thursday. Just to give you guys a date, it's October 26th. So hopefully this will be edited and up by October 27th. But who knows? How y'all doing?
It's October 28th. Don't be mad.
Or the 31st.
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween. The girls who scared Halloween with their hair. There it is. So yeah, how y'all doing? I asked a question.
In yellow.
You
Didn't
said
get the
yellow?
memo. Yeah, we have yellow. I have a
Oh,
yellow
we
shirt. You have a yellow
do.
shirt?
I do. It's a
Sarah.
yellow shawl.
Missed the memo.
Sarah, well, you have
But
green. We
Sarah
have the
I
has
same
look
color
terrible in
glasses.
yellow anyways.
well,
We have on
you have
teal or green glasses and shirts, so we're kind of all in the same flow.
yeah, we're color coordinated.
Mm, mm, mm.
These are try beginner's luck colors.
Yeah,
Shut the front door.
we
We
did.
did. Unplanned.
All right, new thing. Every call from now on, we have to be.
That's
I will
pressure.
forget
That's a
this.
good thing that gray is also one of our colors because I've got a lot of neutrals in my
Nope.
closet.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm always ready with the gray. I'm here,
Uh,
here for you. But of course, I will forget that I said, "Oh, let's dress in TBL colors" on the next call, and I will be in like blue.
yeah. Yeah.
Blue is
And I
color.
would, yeah. And I'll probably be in red. No, wouldn't wear red. I don't even wear red. But anyway.
You usually have some pretty red lipstick, though.
I did a little something with this deep aubergine situation today since
I
it's
see it.
fall. It's
I see it.
fall. But it was so sunny outside. I was feeling like summer vibes. And so I tried to do like a summer fall combination type thing today.
Yeah.
Summer
Well, we're
fall.
about to get maybe 12 inches of snow, so it won't be summer here.
Ooh,
Yeah, come
look at
visit.
that.
I'll send you guys pictures.
Yeah. Do that. I'll take the pictures and I'll come out when it's summer with snow caps. That's my type of vibe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a lot has happened since we did our first official TBL Unfiltered to start the second season. And a lot has happened in the world of sport, triathlon specifically, but a lot has happened. We touched on it a little bit, like the first ever, not first ever, but first ever women's only world championship. How about those
Greatest
potatoes?
championship there ever was.
Hey.
Mm-hmm.
Did you have a chance to watch some of it? Did anybody watch any of it or replays or anything
I was
like that?
doing something all day that day, but I had a couple friends doing it, so I was watching along with the trackers.
Yeah.
And like Instagram.
Yeah, my tracker was lit, literally lit that day.
Battery drain.
Totally. From the start, watching the pros and excuse me, watching the pros to watching the age groupers, and it was just an amazing day. And you could feel the energy even if you weren't actually there.
Mm-hmm.
Like you could physically feel the energy there. What were some of your greatest takeaways from that, from watching it, observing it, tracking your friends? What were some of your highlights of World Championships 2023? Kona.
One of my friends said that the swim was the greatest open water swim she's ever been a part of. That it was a lot friendlier, that she, for the first time ever, did not get swam over by anybody and never got kicked by anybody or hit by anybody. So I think that sounds like a wonderful swim to have been a part of. Also, I've just heard so many things about this swim up coffee bar.
Really?
It's amazing. The coffee boat's the best. It's the best part. You don't even need to do the race. Just swim to the coffee boat.
I won't go just for that. The idea of swimming out to get my coffee and then sitting on a float and having it in the middle of the ocean.
The coffee boat's the best. I love it. And the coffee's like nice, bitter Kona coffee. Like it's good. Yeah.
And Sarah, I'm surprised you don't even, that doesn't sound relaxing to you.
What?
I said,
that's like my dream.
Oh, okay. I misinterpreted. Sorry.
Oh yeah, that sounds amazing. That sounds like I would just go there just for that.
All right. So maybe.
So I think a good takeaway maybe for our listeners, if they find themselves going to Kona, either as a spectator or as a racer, get there early enough so that you can partake of the week-long festivities, because there's so much stuff going on. They've got Parade of Nations, they got the coffee boat, you got the underpants run, you've got they even had like a swim, like a 2.4 mile swim, I think on like Monday or something like that. So one of my athletes did that. She was racing, she did the race, and she finishes that, she's like, oh my god, it was so much slower than I thought. I'm like, first of all, you just got off a plane like 5 hours ago, and she like did the swim. So I was like, so that is going to be it. So if you're racing and you do that 2.4 mile swim, don't do it if you think it's going to get in your head. That's what I would say. But there's so many cool festivities the week of the race. It's like so worth it getting there a week ahead of time. But if you're racing, you got to balance doing all the things with keeping yourself fresh, right? So that you're not like exhausted come race day. But it's a whole thing, man. It is such a cool thing. All of it. Michanda, why are you looking at me like that?
Well, I'm really not looking at you. Remember, I was telling you I was trying to find the picture.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And she didn't listen to a word you just said, Maria.
No, I was irrelevant. It's fine though. We know.
No,
this.
I did hear. I'm a very good listener. I know how to multitask well. And this is what she said, since you're trying my luck, Sarah. What she said was, she said it's worth it for our listeners to get there early if they go, so that they can partake in all of the things. And she had one of her athletes who participated in like the 2.4 mile swim.
Okay, she got it.
And the run.
She got
it. I am multi-hyphenated. I can do multiple things at once.
She is
And
Michanda Shines Miles,
bam,
MC extraordinaire. Mhm,
bam. Now look at
mhm.
this. This is what I was looking at.
Okay.
Talking about tender-headed. This is a very vulnerable moment.
Dramatic.
I'm sorry, dramatic is real. Let's see. Yeah. Yeah. It's real,
Oh,
y'all. It's real. Tender-headed is real. Okay. Now that's done.
yep.
So yeah. So what I was going to ask in terms of a follow-up question to that is if you're going out there and you're supposed to be focused, how do you stay focused and calm while participating in all the activities?
So I think the coffee boat is actually really easy because it's a leisurely swim to and from the coffee boat.
Okay.
You know, you don't have, there's no, and one could argue that you should be doing some sort of prep workout. So you should be swimming. So I think
Okay.
the coffee boat's easy. I do think things that require you to be on your feet and out in the sun need to be reevaluated in terms of their level of importance. But I
Mm,
mean, the underpants run is 2 miles. You know, it's like, and it's like a run walk because there's so many people. You're not really going that fast, but
okay.
you also have to think about your goals, right? So people show up at world championships, not just in Kona, but world championships generally, with lots of different goals. Like some people are just happy to be there and they're just there and they're going to finish the race and they don't have any time goals, they don't have any placement goals. So their pre-week activities may be different than someone who is trying to win their age group at a world championship. That's a very different week for two different people. But I would still argue even the ones who are trying to compete have space for fun if you're there to kind of enjoy yourself. But you just got to be mindful of your fatigue levels, your energy levels. And even if you're there just to have fun and finish the race, you still can't be exhausted when you start. So you have to, I would argue everyone needs to be kind of mindful of the energy they're expending. And it's, you know, I don't know if you heard, but it's really hot in Kona.
No, I thought it was kind of cool this year. You know, they had a lot of rain, cooled it off a
Yeah.
little bit.
I saw like a cloud. So
Yeah.
that was good.
A cloud. A cloud.
One cloud in the broadcast. That was fun.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. But I
Um,
also think it's pretty cool. Like, so my big takeaway is that if you create a women only event and you promote it and market it exactly like a male event, people will come, people will watch, and the numbers on the female, I shocking, but the numbers on I think it was Triathlete Magazine that reported this. It was either them or Feisty, what one or the other reported the numbers on viewing for the female championship was higher than the male championship. And I'm
mm,
sure people are going to say, oh, because one was in France and one was in Kona, but that doesn't impact viewing, right? Like people want to
that's
see who
true.
the male, but if you create it, people will come and they will watch. So sports companies out there support women, female events because your sponsorship of those events will pay. Will pay for you. People will pay attention to your brand. They'll know that you
Yeah.
support diversity and inclusion, and that makes you cool. So I think and that kind of piggybacks with what we talked before, you know, about some of these naysayers about, oh, the slots are just rolling down and anyone can get a slot. Well, again, thank you, Triathlete Magazine, for your in-depth analysis of the times and the placement, and they basically debunked that.
It did.
So yeah, and solidly both for the male and the female championship race. So pretty
Yeah.
exciting. And I think it's just great to see how we are now on a clear road toward equal spots for men and women. So I think it's great. And I just
Yeah.
read too that this arrangement is in place till 2027. So
Oh,
great.
nice.
Yeah.
So we're in what, 23? So that's what,
4 more
4 years?
years. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 4 more years.
Yeah.
So it'll be in equal locations both times.
Yep.
I heard some thoughts on ways that they could make it, but it still doesn't eliminate like the two-person. Like if they had it in Nice for 2 days, they could do the pros on one day, have the women start at a different time than the men, and then the
Mm-hmm.
age groupers. and then vice versa if they were to have it in Kona. So there's a lot of things now speculating about how they can do it so that both men and women can be on the island or in Nice together.
Yeah.
And how they're doing the roll downs. Like now, I think Taylor Knibb got an opportunity to participate in her first ever world championship Ironman because she won 70.3 worlds. And so now if you place in a certain percentage in your age group, you will now have that same opportunity to go to world championships. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so I think, so I was just, Sarah, I'm going to shut up because I just was talking a lot. Sarah, it's your turn.
Tell me your
Sarah's
thoughts, and
turn.
then
No, Sarah's turn. Sarah's turn.
that was gonna give me time. That was gonna give me time to gather mine, but
Oh, okay.
I will say I think there's that mimics running. I think there's like some of a lot of the world majors, so you can qualify based on a halftime or a full time. I think it would be interesting to see how that pans out results wise. You don't know till you give people a chance and to see whether or not fast at 70.3 translates to fast at a full.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to keep track of that and see maybe if those athletes do well, or if they don't, and then maybe if they don't, stop it, and if they do, keep going. Because I do think that's a bit, I mean, like if cost is a barrier for entry, 70.3s are generally, they're more accessible, they're easier to train for. There's a lot more of them, at least it feels like there's a lot more of them. So if you want to
definitely more opportunities, way more.
Give people a chance to qualify, and I mean, $400 is still a big barrier for entry, but I mean, when we're talking about making small changes at least at a time, that's a good way to get there.
Yeah.
And I think for anyone who's concerned too, like my understanding of the rule is you have to be top 5 in your age group in order to get one of the slots to the championship, and they don't roll down. So if somebody on the top 5 declines their spot, that spot does not roll down. So in the 70.3s. So I think that this is an attempt to ensure that they're getting some of the best 70.3 long course athletes, or not just 70.3, but getting some of the best long course athletes at the world championship, which makes sense, right? It's a world championship. So I think it's great for all of those reasons that Sarah stated, particularly for women who historically are way underrepresented on the starting lines of 140.6s. But there's still a gap at the 70.3 level, but it's much less at the 70. Well, maybe not much less, but it's less at the 70.3 level. Because, if you're a mother, you have childcare, if you are a single parent, all those kinds of things become barriers to entry. And a 70.3, again, not cheap, but less expensive than the $900 variant. And not only that too, there's a training commitment there with a 140.6 that a lot of people can't commit to all the time, but they may commit to it for a world championship. And it's not without precedent. Like way back in my day, kids, we used to have 70.3s where we could qualify. So there used to be 70.3s where you could qualify. And then
the broadcasts in black and white then?
There was not even broadcast. We used smoke signals to report the results. Crazy.
Pigeon carriers.
They had that AM radio dial in. You had to get an AM radio.
In Morse code.
Yeah, there was like a whole Morse code. We used telegraphs. Exactly right.
So you went way back to telegrams. I was like, AM radio?
Which don't even get me started on my whole how much I love the telegraph, but it's fine.
Tell us about that.
Does it stem from Sound of Music?
No, it's so in my previous life, I taught media studies and I love technology. I think technology is super interesting. And by technology, it's not just like what we think, like things you can plug in, but it's like anything that improves our ability to complete a task. So paper was huge, right? Like paper's huge. I no longer have to carve on rocks. I can carry around paper. But I think outside of paper, the telegraph is like huge because for the first time, we had communication separated from transportation. Because if you wanted to send a message via paper, it had to go with something that was transporting it. Pony Express, train, whatever. Telegraph released that transportation requirement, thus expanding the speed and breadth of who and when you could communicate with people. Do you know what the very first telegraph message was?
Oh, I feel like I knew this once upon a time. This is a great trivia question.
It was in May 24th, 1844.
You Google, cheater. Yes.
I don't know what the first message was, but I know the first when it was transmitted. So I do know that part.
It was what hath God wrought.
Oh.
So what hath?
But there would be no radio without the telegraph. There would be no wireless internet. Like, think about it. Wireless internet is like a super high-tech version of the telegraph.
Thank you all for coming to Maria's TED Talk on.
I appreciate your time.
Yes.
Information.
Feel free to edit all that.
It was in black and white.
I'm not editing a thing because what I thought about, so when I was having my bad
Please
hair
edit
moment,
all of this out because no one needs to hear that.
When I was having my bad hair moment in the in the mirror, I was like, you know what? Unfiltered is just that. It's unedited, unfiltered. We say whatever, it is what it is. And I think more times than not, I don't want this to be so perfected and crafted that it has to be like pristine. No, that's not life. Life isn't perfect. It's not perfectly crafted or curated or edited. So this is real time, real life. If I say something crazy like I almost did about the Telegraph, then guess what? People would just see how brilliant I am.
Exactly.
What crazy thing were you about to say about Telegraph?
I forgot.
Damn it. It's my fault.
Is that what's going to be
a ridiculous tangent?
Oh, the Telegraph. Then what came after the Telegraph was the telephone? Or was it something between the Telegraph and the telephone? I don't think so.
Telephone would have been next, I'm pretty sure. Radio.
Perhaps.
Radio is in there.
You know what? That's a good, okay. What is the evolution? See, you know how you got to write on the board in front of a group and you all of a sudden go like, how do I spell?
Welcome to my everyday life.
Evolution of the telegraph to internet. Let's see if it gives us okay. So
telephone was before radio, confirmed.
Yeah. The invention of the telegraph. Okay. So brief history. This source is called Internet Society. So it's just what it is.
It must be true.
Or let's see.
But
it doesn't.
I feel like I've irrevocably thrown this podcast off of the rails with my TED Talk.
You did. So anyway, what I actually saw in the little Google search.
She's like, I'm not giving up either.
Right, because now I'm interested. So what I initially saw in the search, because it's very text heavy, it was a telegraph, telephone, radio, mobile phone, internet, and hell, now we are at Insta socials and AI. So it's been an extensive evolution. And here's the deal. Did you know it was called the ARPANET in 1967? Huh. All right, guys, this is, it was
a military project. It was a military project.
But isn't everything a military project first?
A lot of things.
I don't know where I was. I might have been at a play where they were reenacting like September 11th. It's a local play. And somebody was saying how everything kind of started with a lot of key things that we have now started with a project that the government through the military supplied and, tried to do the initial research. So that's interesting. But anyway, back to our regularly scheduled program of sports. I tell you, I hope you've enjoyed that little deep dive. That's what happens when we really chat. This is unfiltered. It's just us having a conversation. And honestly, people got to watch it on YouTube. So they'll get to see us in real time, real life, kind of.
And it all comes
working
down
these
to
things
how
down.
else could we track our athletes if there was no internet? So we had to like talk about how we got there.
Only you, Maria, would put a bow on that. That was nice. That was
You're a
nice.
master bullshitter.
Did you hear what she just called you?
I missed it. Say it again.
Oh, a master bullshitter.
Yeah, 100%. I have a PhD, pound high and deeper. Yep.
We had a teacher in middle school. He was like technically like our gifted education teacher. And one of the things he basically taught us how to do was that like if you can bullshit your way out of something, that is a life skill. And so like when he asked us questions on projects that we did, if we were able to come up with some like BS answer about like why we didn't do something or like why something looked weird or whatever, as long as it sounded reasonable, we'd get credit for doing it, even if we didn't, because he was like, you need to learn how to adjust on the fly.
That's good. That's a good skill. Of course, I don't know how to do that.
Okay.
And no one cracks us.
If you say so.
Very good at my words. And yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, I'm a good talker. Still, no one's commenting. Hey, you know what? This is what I get. This is what I have to deal with week in and week out. This is how they treat me, y'all. This is how they treat me. But it's okay. I'm glad I'm confident.
We love you.
Yes. So we talked about Kona. Shout out to Lucy Charles Barclay for that win. That's the story of definite just persistence. And you could tell from the swim, she was after something and hungry for something. So shout out to her. And Hogg and Laura Phillips, which was interesting because Taylor Knibb was in second for the most of the day. And I mean, this is her first one. So it's just classic. You go out there, you do your best, you're out there, and just shows you the powerhouse she is as a young athlete who has still so much future ahead of her. And I do believe if it wasn't for the penalty, she probably would have been in third. I think. Because did she have to sit out penalties? This is the part that I think I was out doing something. Did she have to wait out her penalties before going on the run? Or did they tack on the point? She had to wait. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I didn't see it. I was actually, I tuned in probably for like the last half of the run because I was out in Moab pacing an athlete, but I had service for a little bit for the end. So I didn't actually see the details. I am going to watch the full recorded stream on my trainer.
Got a long ride coming up.
Is a little present on the trainer.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have a 8-hour ride or anything like that, but I'll watch it in pizzas as I get through them. But yeah, so I don't know what happened with her specifically, but I do know that when you get a penalty, yes, you have, depending on the nature of the penalty, if it's a time penalty, you got to wait it out.
Yeah. And again, I saw bits and pieces because I was doing stuff throughout the day, so I didn't get to tune into the full broadcast either. But like her bottles kept dropping. And so even though it wasn't intentional, I think ultimately she got littering. So the first one was like, okay, we give you a pass, but then it kept happening. So she kept losing nutrition out on the course. And so I think that was one of the penalties that she had to sit out. And I think it was maybe 5 minutes. So, and that's the difference, I do believe, with, I think that would have been like the difference maker. But anyway, everything happens for a reason. I am 100% fully that everything happens for a reason. And it was a good experience. And what I love about it is I'm seeing interviews now and she's still just really just kind of cool about everything that's happening. But let's talk
Yeah.
about the age groupers. The age groupers lit the carpet up. I don't know if you got to see, well, I know a couple of friends who was out there and seeing their victory laps as they were coming through the banner was just so like powerful because they had to go through so much that day. But anyway, shout out to everyone who participated. That you are down in the history books for doing something that only will happen one time. Like it's only a first time of that event. And now after that, people will come behind and be written in the history books after you. So kudos to everyone who got an opportunity to participate from every aspect, whether it was pre-production to post-production and anything in between. So shout out to that. Next up, have you guys been hearing about all the cheating happening on the run courses?
I think I saw something online about some like doctor or something basically saying that there's all sorts of ways now to dope without being caught. And they did some study, what was it, like 1 in 7 triathletes they suspect are doping? I don't want to be misquoted for that stat, but it was
No.
high.
No, child, I didn't know that. Tell us the tea.
Well, you keep talking about what you saw that made you think it while I've
So what
checked.
made me think about it is the Baltimore Running Festival just had a race. And this guy placed first in his age group. It was the 50 to 54 age group that he placed first in, but had no splits. And then Chicago Marathon had to pretty much disqualify over 200 people this year for cheating the course.
Whoa.
Yeah. 200 people. That's a lot of people to not fully do a course. But it's not untrue. I remember when I did Marine Corps in 2015, there were issues of people who were cheating that course. And I'm just like, what makes a person feel like they have to cheat a course?
Especially like, I don't, maybe this is a hot take, but if you're just like doing this for fun, like you're not winning anything, especially why not? Like, obviously, you should not be cheating if you are winning and competing for money. Like, okay, blanket statement, you shouldn't cheat. However, like if those of us who are not winning anything, we're doing this for fun, we're doing it to like get better, we're, like what, why especially? Like if it is your lifeblood, I again still don't think you should cheat, but I sometimes like more like people are trying to survive. Again, shouldn't do it, but like there's a little bit more incentive to do it because they are trying to win prize money. But when you are just like an average Joe,
But I think
it
that's
makes me
even
feel
more
less.
reason not to cheat, especially when you are out there doing it for fun, trying to get better. The point is to get better, not to
That's what I
cheat to
mean.
get
That's what
better.
I'm saying.
Uh,
Yeah, like why there you have
uh,
absolutely no reason because of, otherwise, like why are you even doing it?
Gotcha. I need to clean the wax out of my ears today.
No, I probably wasn't very clear.
Okay. It's like I can't hear. But anyway, so there's a couple of things I was just reading about. The cheating that's happening in the distances, or at least the running specifically. We didn't get the chance to talk about Kona, so we did talk about that. And I mean, what else is on your heart?
I think the cheating thing, I think there's probably a variety of reasons why people cheat, but I feel like this whole, I call it like the Stravatization of the endurance sports space, where we've got to constantly be performing, constantly be showing off, constantly be beating others, or whatever the pressure is there. I think it creates this like space where people feel like they're quote unquote supposed to achieve a certain time or do a certain thing. And as Sarah pointed out, like, we're missing the point. The point isn't, well, I guess it varies for everybody. The point isn't your finish time, or even if you finish at all. I mean, the point is the journey that you've taken to get just to the starting line. You know, race
Yeah.
day in many ways is secondary to all of the learning that you do in that training. And, you know, I've never been impressed by people who love to boast that they didn't do training and they're going to go do this race. I am so unimpressed by you because you're missing the point. The point
Yeah.
isn't the race. The point is all that you've had to go through to get to that. I still don't think that that answers what is very likely a multifactorial list of reasons of why people cheat, professional or amateur. But I do think there's a lot of pressure on all of us to perform, and each of us have different responses to that pressure to perform. You know, I was just yesterday, I was actually getting a massage, and my massage therapist said, like, would you, she, you know, you're just chit chatting as you do, because otherwise it just feels super awkward. If you're not chatting with your massage therapist. But
I'm trying not to fall asleep.
yeah, well, oh no. Yeah, no, this woman, if you fall asleep on her table, you're impressive. You're an impressive person, and you can tolerate great deals of pain. She's like
Getting in.
Oh, she's like 80 pounds soaking wet, and I just can't. It's actually unbelievable how strong she is. It's unreal, her strength. But she was asking me, she's like, you know, what would you do if there was no races? I said, oh, well, we already did that experiment. It was the summer of 2020. And I trained right through it, you know, and you know, for me, the training is the point. And maybe it's not for everybody, you know, everybody has different motivations, but I just really enjoy the day in, day out process of training, and the shitty days and the great days.
Right.
And what you learn on both of those kinds of days. Most of the time we learn more on the shitty days than we do on the great days, because we're going to interrogate the crappy days. Whereas we have a great day, we're like, oh, it's great, and we move on. But I think listening to this, interrogate your great days too, to figure out what made them great, so you can try to duplicate that great day. You know, anyway, this is apparently the day of tangents for me. I'm living up to my gray hair and having plenty of, I don't know how the hell I got on this tangent, so I'm just going to end it. The end. And I love the Telegraph.
Well, I will tell you this, thinking about training, one of my thoughts, I think your tangents are good because that just shows the depth and the breadth of your wisdom.
Oh my God. Random.
The depth and breadth of wisdom. So I went for a run today during lunch, because sometimes the stress of work is just good to like get out and release. So I release, and I'm like, yes, this was great. But it's also like one of my final runs before a 10K this weekend. And I come back to the office, or my home office, and stuff just hits the fan. I said, could this not have happened before I went for my run? Because it was great.
Now I gotta go for another run.
Now I gotta go for another. It was like I was visibly and physically like, I had to cool off before I even jumped on our call today, because I was like, what in all the explicitives? It was wild. So in instances like that, where working out can be a fuel and you have those good days, and it can be a defueler where you can have bad days, how would you encourage somebody to get through that additional stress, sir? Or what would you do? Maybe not how you would, or what would you do? I don't know. Silly question. I don't know.
No, I don't think it's a silly. You say it. Yeah, go for it.
I guess what I was trying to figure out was like, dang it, I just went for a run during the middle of my workday, and I come back and just stuff is hitting the fan. And I was like, now what do I do with this tension that I have built up in my body, when it was like a tension of good endorphins and bad endorphins having a little fight all at the same time? And I had, You said what?
Maria was about to say something.
I didn't know what to do. And I did some breath work, and then I still was just pissed.
Yeah, breath work would be my go-to, but I don't have a good answer to that because I tend to be the kind of person that will stew on shit forever.
That's so funny because I was going to say the exact opposite. I'm just kind of like, my approach to life recently is like, unless it's death, most things just aren't that big of a deal. I like talk to my office mate a lot, and one of the things we've talked about is like, I learned from an old boss of mine, like, your priority is not my priority, your emergency is not my emergency. So generally speaking, that's like just a helpful way to live your life, because if you take on other people's emergencies and priorities, you never get to your own. And if you're taking care, yeah, so I mean, you can't always avoid everything, but yeah, go for another run.
Yeah. But time was just not of the essence with this, and then it's getting dark outside. Hence, you can see the mood because I use the natural light of the windows in my room. See, it's getting darker and more sultry. Welcome to Try Beginner's Luck Unfiltered after dark.
After dark, because it's like the dark season.
Yes, the dark season.
Fueled by seasonal depression.
Oh Lord.
Yeah, I don't have a good answer for you, Michanda. I'm a fusser of the highest caliber. So Sarah's approach is much healthier than mine. Like, I literally woke up in the middle of the night last night, had an idea. This was not a stewing thing. It wasn't a negative thing. I just woke up in the middle of the night and had an idea for like something I wanted to do for one of my athletes, and like had to get up and write it down. I'm just kind of hardwired that way. So I will fuss on something until I can find some way to resolve it.
We're alike in that way. I'm a fusser too. Like, I just need to verbally process.
I write things down a lot to try to get it out of my head, because otherwise I it's like just a repeat in my head. It's frustrating.
Cool.
Which is good when you're racing, because if I can get the right track to play when I'm racing,
then it's good.
I'm like unstoppable, right? Like I'm on it, you know. But sometimes the wrong track does start playing, and it's like, shit, get off this track, new track. Counting, tapping,
all that good
singing.
stuff.
Yeah.
Well, that's it for us today. I think we've rambled about a lot. This is our first. I'm sure
you're tired of my bullshit already. All right, we're going to shut Marie up by ending this show. So thanks for tuning in. We appreciate it. We love you all.
Comment with your preferred type of communication. Do you like the Telegraph? Do you like Morse code? Do you like carrier pigeons?
What do you like? AI. Yeah. Can AI do it for you or no? No, I think, I just want to keep it to a, healthy time limit. And, just want to, it's our first one. So of course, our first official one, right? So we'll get better with time. We'll get better articles. Things will happen and populate. It's the end of the season for a lot of different things. So, we'll just see. I just felt like the reason why I wanted to do this is you guys are hilarious. I'm probably the more serious one of the group. Like, I take everything very seriously. I'm a little bit more like, okay. But you guys have the good banter. And I love it. And I feel like the world should share with it.
We're just full of a lot of BS.
Yeah. On next episode, I would like to speak with you about public interest law in the media.
Oh, can we not? I do not want to talk about anything.
I'm going to miss that one. I will
miss that one too. I'm out. I deal with.
Well, it begins with the Telegraph. I'm just saying.
Listen, anything law related after hours is not healthy for my.
I can mail you my dissertation and you can read it. It's fascinating.
Okay.
Riveting.
I will read it. Actually, I will let Adobe read it to me, because Adobe is good for that. Adobe, read this article.
Adobe, can you summarize this?
Can you summarize this for me? Yes. Listen, Word can read to you now. Hey, Word, can you read this back to me? Anyway.
Okay.
We appreciate y'all. Maria Simone, everybody, endurance, level 3 coach with no.
I'm not level 3 yet. Not level 3 yet. A level 2. I applied to the level 3 clinic, which will be an endurance exchange in January. Not happened yet.
If we just hold this episode until January, then it's true.
Yeah, it's true. And see, in my mind, it's true because you're so knowledgeable. Well, come on.
Level 2.5.
Level 2.5.
Okay, not a thing. I just like to be accurate. I don't like to misrepresent my credentials.
I appreciate
Maria's like,
that.
you guys can say it, but I can't.
Nope.
Right. No, why? You know what? I know why I saw it, because you told me you were doing something. You told me. And so
I applied to it. Yeah, for an endurance exchange.
that just stuck in my head. So as Sarah said, level 2.5 coach. But coach extraordinaire, head coach extraordinaire for No Limit Endurance. So please be sure to follow No Limit Endurance team on, is it No Limit Endurance? At No Limit Endurance on Instagram?
It's No Limits Endurance Coaching on Instagram.
On Instagram. Yeah. And
yeah.
Maria, if you want to follow her exploits and all the crazy things that she does, like she tracks her clients in Moab 240 miler, my goodness, over multiple days. She likes to hike 14ers all the time. She is Miss Outdoorsy. Follow her at Mass Life for personal. And then, of course, we had our young Sarah, who has the fresh cut and the blonde in. Come on, highlights. You can follow her at what is it? Sarah Truitt 140.6.
Sarah Truitt Photography.
Oh, I was going to do that one too. I was going to do both.
Oh, sure. The other one is Sarah Tries 140.6.
Sarah Tries.
Did 140.6, but I never changed it.
Well, Sarah Tries 140.6, and Sarah is an extraordinary photographer. So if you need photography, can you tell us about what type of photography? We know you do sports photography, but I know you're getting into some other things. So tell the people what type of photography you do.
Sports events, portraits. I recently got to do a couple moms with their babies in their homes for various reasons. Those are really sweet. So yeah, wide variety.
So wide variety of photography. If you need her, she does travel. So, but she's located and based in the DMV, which is the District of Columbia, Maryland, and Virginia area. So there's that. And then I am Michanda Miles, also known as Michanda Shine. So if you want to follow me, please do so at Michanda Shines. And then, of course, we want you to see, look at the light just went out. Tribe Beginner's Luck at Tribe Beginner's Luck. And then follow us here on YouTube. We want our YouTube followership to increase and grow. So follow us here. We're starting something new, which is Ask a Coach. So if you have questions for coaches, and if you have questions for our coaches that will be on our coaches panel, submit them. The link will be in the bio of this segment. So be sure to do that. And it's also in the link of our Instagram bio so that you can go and put Ask a Coach. Ask your questions. We do know that coaching is sometimes not as accessible, but if you have a question or two that you want asked, we want to be able to bring that to you and make it accessible, especially for those of you who are trying and going after your first triathlon. All right, guys, we do not have an intro for this, nor do we have an outro yet, but we probably will as we continue to move on. But for right now, we are out. Peace. Bye.
I'm miniature. Too.
Too.
I was like.